they're a better side than they have been the past couple of years. They look more drilled. Everyone knows their role. Better coached, I reckon. I'm happy to be challenged to whether they're a better side right now than what they have been.
Tom Harley said, just a few moments ago, that you're coaching this side better than James Hird was. Tough.
Oh, he didn't say that, did he? Here we go. I can't respond to that. Apart from saying, Tommy, you're a silly bugger, what did you do that for? It doesn't matter how I coach. Like, I'm coach for this year, I'm enjoying it. I'm doing things that probably a coach who wants to have a career for a long time can't do because I'm just having a go. And,
What kind of things are they?
Just playing young people and trying different things and just doing exactly what I want.
Those Geelong boys, they still love you, Bomber. Welcome.
They still love me, Jared,
With
yes.
friends like that, though, hey?
Well, it wasn't an appropriate question, was it, really? It was pretty tough to answer. I didn't expect it. Yeah, I just didn't expect it.
But you are a better coach. You're a premiership coach. Hurd's coached for how many years? 3. You've coached for 14.
Well, that's what I wanted to say, Robbo, but no. You can't say that.
You are. Write it now, you are.
Yeah, and Roosie, welcome.
Thank you, boys.
I'm interested, though, in the spin-off to that, the freedom that you feel to make decisions that maybe you wouldn't make if you were a longer-term coach. Is that genuine?
It is genuine, yeah. Yeah, I do honestly feel that way, yeah. But playing kids, we played 3 first game is the first game of the year, and it's a crucial game to win when you're playing Hawthorn and Fremantle. So I just played them, yeah.
So you're taking risks in your own head, which filters through to the players who got not a freedom, but an understanding that they can take risks with the football, which is producing this sharing, lightning football, fast-moving football that you're playing at the moment.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Just having a style of footy, people we pick, the way we train them during the week. It's all a bit sort of different, so it's good.
In what way? Can you allow us to hear? Well, in what way?
We've got 2 ovals now, and we actually starting to use the 2 ovals in a really purposeful way. So, like last
one's
week,
the size that Eddie had, the other one's the size of the MCG.
We did a lot of match play over summer with only 12 on 12, 13 on 13, which really makes you have to turn up when you're in your decision making. So if you've got the ball, you need someone there to kick it to. So you sort of have to run harder, make decisions earlier if you're going to survive the training session. So and then we hadn't done it for a while. So because we'd sort of trained as a group and trying to get the stoppages right, the team structures right, we did it last week again, and it was really tiring for the players because it's actually hard work. So you got to, and just things like that, you know. Like we haven't done that before, so we're just into it.
With a young squad, Roosie, that's obviously in depth and down the track. Are you at the teaching, learning stage rather than the mastering stage?
Oh, absolutely. We're at the stage where it's just the non-negotiables of footy. You know, where you're trying to teach the real basics of the game. If you don't do them, you can never win. You know, or you might win 3 games, in a row, then you lose 6 games in a row, and then, you're trying to get to where I talked to Bom about last week. How did Geelong start? Where was their starting point? Where was Hawthorn's starting point? That's where we are. We're at the starting point, trying to build for sustained success at some point. So you've got to put the foundations down. You can't put the roof of the house on without the foundation. So really, we're at a completely different stage to where Bomber is with his team.
What's worse, the effort or the skill level at the moment?
No, you can cop the skill errors. There's no question. You can cop the skill errors. The effort is what you need to sustain in AFL football, because even looking at we'll get down to Hawthorn, I think, later. But forgetting Hawthorn at the moment, even watching some of the other games on the weekend, Collingwood Geelong was a super game of footy, but there was a lot of mistakes.
Yes.
So what you need to bring is effort for 120 minutes. You're still going to make mistakes. Not everyone's Hawthorn at the moment.
But isn't that the foundation then? You're trying to build a foundation. The foundation surely's got to be effort, and we'll deal with everything else.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
And that's what you've got to be disappointed about.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And that's what fans are disappointed about. They go to the game and say, we don't see effort. It frustrates them.
Oh, absolutely.
I reckon there'd be a lot of things going on in their mind, because it's like Roosie's got a set way to play, I'm sure, and it's probably a lot different or a little bit different. They want to please him. They're trying to do it. There's a lot of confusion, like you put yourself, that's the pressure moment of the week, the performance. And they'll be trying their best to do the right thing.
There's no doubt they are. There's no doubt that they're trying.
Yeah.
But when you look at a game, and we looked at the game on the weekend, Roos, 19-11, it was a tough sort of situation. You still question whether they're confused or they don't know where to go.
Yeah, and that was
the game plan confusing
big
them.
part of discussion today. You know, when someone asked me, was the glass half full, half empty? I mean, for 91 minutes we were good, but we've got to focus on the 29 minutes that we weren't good. You know, and why weren't we good in that 29 minutes? Because you talked about the fans. That's what the fans, the expectation is. Yeah, the 90, 91 minutes, I think we're 1 point ahead, you know, going the last quarter. So what happens there? And that's the stuff that we're really... Are we teaching them properly? You know, are they... Yeah, we'll have a good discussion about that tomorrow.
What's your age of your teammate are you putting out, and experience-wise, like average 70 games?
Yeah, the game... We've got older Matty Jones and Turlick and these guys, but they haven't played a lot of footy. Yeah, Giorgio's older, he hasn't played a lot of footy. So you've got a combination. So games played's not high. There's a few more experienced guys, but they haven't played a lot of football. So we're looking at ourselves too, Robbo, absolutely, because there is an expectation. I mean, I feel absolutely responsible for the last 4 or 5 years, even though I wasn't there. You know, you understand what the fans have gone through, you know, and you understand what their expectations are. So it's hard for me not to sort of sit there and worry about last year and the year before and the year before that.
Last one, Melbourne. Three-quarter time, the game's in a balance. They wipe you off the park in the last quarter. Tackles, the contested ball. And these are the things that fans look at and go, what happened? Are they fit enough? Did they just run out of legs? Is it a case of fitness? Or is it a case of not many games experience against a younger, hungrier team? What did you put down that last quarter?
It wouldn't be much younger, Robbo, I don't reckon.
Yeah, I mean...
Shaw and Mumford have they've helped.
I wouldn't underestimate
really helped.
Mumford's...
He was awesome. Yeah, he was
Mumford's
awesome.
the most critical player of that team at the moment. There's no question. Because the kids are going to develop naturally. That was going to happen. But all of a sudden you put... And I coached Mumford as you did, Bomber. Mumford at his best, he's not in the best he's not the best ruckman in the competition. He's top 2 or 3. He's fit again, he's healthy again. So that allows those kids to develop naturally, but it puts a big, strong body around the contest.
They just live off him, don't they?
Yeah, they
sort of
feed off.
Look,
he was terrific. But in answer to your question, we got to, you know, why did we drop off? You know, we got to. Why did guys not go to the right structures? Is that because we're not teaching them and they're not learning quickly enough? So look, there's frustration. I think Bomber said the players don't not try, but we've got to work out why they drop off, and that's a big part of this week.
His cameras are a long way back, Bomber. You're much used to having them a bit closer in your face. Bit of ducking and diving going on last night.
Well, I haven't seen it.
Well, we can show it to you.
I know what happened.
It's the beauty of television.
Yeah.
So...
Are you going to show it now?
Here it is.
Here it is. I was about to have a yawn and put my arms up and have a stretch. And I thought, I looked up and I seen myself on TV, so I go, oh, no, just... Got out the back and I seen there's a couple of sponsors there, Sonny Roth. And I said, you'll get on TV, boys.
So imagine if you were having a big yawn.
I know. Yeah.
Right up there with the same.
I didn't expect the camera to be on.
When he was coaching the Cats.
Imagine that, didn't you?
I thought, no more.
What about you? You were captured on film too, going off your head.
Yeah, I mean, there's different ways to teach and learn, and I think one thing about being on the bench is you're able to talk to players directly. You know, look, and what I'll say about Dean Turley, he's been terrific.
Oh, he's been really good,
He's been
mate.
really good for us, and he knew. But I'd sat with him on the bench and said, look, we've got to get the kick-ins long. You know, we've got to go to our ruckman and our centre-half back, and it didn't happen. So then you take a different approach. But let me, as I said, Dean Turley, that's an isolated incident.
Been a great pickup for that club.
He's been very, very good and really embraced, because he was when I was coaching the Swans. Ironically, I think I delisted him, but he probably got a slight advantage over the other boys, and he's been really good. A bit down on the weekend, but that was just a different learning phase, and you know, in terms of what I need to do with him.
How did you feel seeing yourself acting like not acting? That wasn't acting. That was real. Reacting like that.
Well, again, sometimes it's premeditated. You know, so you don't worry about who's watching in those moments because you're actually thinking through it. I knew walking off the bench what I was going to do. You know, no
Who
question.
were you talking to there?
That was Dean Turley.
Oh, yeah, so he can take it.
Yeah, so you
he can take it?
Yeah, he can. Yeah, he's been, as I said, he's been terrific. He's had a lot of positive feedback. He's been really good. But in that moment, you know, he obviously did the wrong thing, and I just need to
So you spent the last 2 years at Sydney on the bench coaching? Or year?
Yeah, up and back. Yeah,
Up and back. Are you going to stay there?
I'll probably do the same thing up and back. I mean, it's good to see the players' reaction when they're coming on and off the ground, and it's good to give some direct feedback. And we've got some pretty experienced boys in the box as well. But it's also good to get a view of the game from up top as well at times.
What did we see on Friday night? What did we see with Hawthorn decimating Fremantle?
We've seen a good side, didn't we? I haven't seen a skill level against the second best side for a long, long time.
The best defensive side.
Yeah, the best defence against the best attack, and the best attack won
just
clearly.
Peeled them open.
I mean, I spoke to a coach from another club and he called it a perfect game. And I'm not sure there is such a thing, but even their fumbles went to their teammates. I mean, their ability to retain the ball and look, they're experts in their craft. They know exactly where to go, when to go.
They know someone's going to be there. They're so predictable to one another.
Even though there were key people missing, and this was the most interesting aspect to it, is you build your system and then you plug them in. But with those set of players missing, they not only didn't skip a beat, they were as good as they've ever been.
That's what we talked about before, where we're at and where Bomber's trying to get his team at the top end. It's a system team. Yeah. It's a culture. It's not they've got plenty of talent, don't get me wrong, but it's not predicated necessarily on talent. That's what we're all trying to do.
Do your boys train at Melbourne like they trained at Sydney? Or is it just...
Yeah, they're learning, they're learning. And I think it depends on the development of your list and where... Look, our training habits are good, but then, you don't get a lot of time during the week, do you?
No.
So it's for those...
Isn't that crazy? It's a crazy thing to say.
I'd say that the Essendon boys, when we got there 4 years ago, just their training standards were just poor.
Yeah.
And now we're consistently getting better. We've had to drive that thing, because... that's what was happening in the games.
Well, because you only get about an hour and a half during the season. That's about it. So if you're not training flat out, during the week, it's hard to improve when you're lower down. It's not so bad for a Hawthorn when they're experts and they know what to do, and their practices in game time. If they can get their team on the field.
I dare say, mate, that at Hawthorn younger blokes would be easier to play at Hawthorn than it would any other club.
Oh, no doubt.
Yes.
No doubt.
They can come in and just be...
But the expectation on them is a lot higher as well. Because if you're going to come in and play in this Hawthorn team...
But they set these standards in the seconds, Robert.
Yeah,
they don't set them in the seniors. Bottom teams have to set some of their standards in the seniors, whereas top sides, and I'm sure it happened with you towards the end there, guys, unless... They wouldn't get a game unless they adhered to minimum standards. So they're already doing them in the seconds before they actually arrived in the seniors.
Yeah. You've got to do a lot right, don't you? A good club to get in.
Are you going to tell us what Courtney Dempsey did?
Huh? No, he's just been late for things. Yeah.
Is that all?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, simple. But not just once or twice. It's been a whole, recurring thing that over time. And it's hurt him. It's hurt us, because
he's a good player. He's a good player.
Not played yet, and he's a very, very good player. Like, when he gets back on, we're just going to love him.
Well, when he gets back on, you're putting him on half-back flank and you're starting 18.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's an issue to do with football. You've got an issue obviously coming to a head with Mitch Clark now that Robbo wrote about on Saturday, and Chris Dawes spoke sort of really deeply about with his friend that football's the secondary, not even a secondary consideration. Will this reach a head shortly?
As far as I know, possibly. I mean, I haven't got that involved in the stuff that you spoke about, Robert, other than, my message to Mitch have always text message, hope you're going well, mate. If you need anything, let me know. A couple of responses back. So I've really just let him get away from football. I believe there's going to be some discussion maybe tomorrow or Wednesday, but once you're in the season, my concern was for Mitch and making sure he's okay, and I know the doctors are all over that as well. What happens if he decides to play footy? I'm 100% supportive. If he wants a longer break, we're 100%. If he says I'm going to give it away, but I don't know at this stage. Yeah.
From what I know today, he's not walking away from the footy, but he's not walking back into footy at this stage yet. So it's just an issue that he and the club and his family have to deal with.
Well, good luck against Carlton, and you've got the trip to Perth, so I'm sure the Dockers will fight back. But what we saw last night, you'll give them a run.
Well, yeah, I'm sure they'll fight back. I think they'll be a bit sparkier, a bit nastier than they were last Friday night.
Bomber Thompson and Paul Roos with us on AFL360 every Monday night. Another coach tonight on the couch. Next, Brendan McCartney after the Bulldogs' first win of the season.